Hey everyone, welcome back to TBM Sports. Let's get into the Monday Night Football. We have a doubleheader to go alongside a Game 7 in the MLB, so that'll be an exciting one. I'm not going to do a full MLB breakdown, but I will tell you guys here, I do lean towards the home team. The numbers back it up, and that was kind of my pick before the playoffs all started, that we'd get a Dodgers and Toronto matchup in the World Series. So I'm going to go with it and ride that one out, and we'll look into tonight's action in the NFL. If you guys are all new here, welcome back. If you are a returning subscriber, I do appreciate all the love and support. Hit that like button, subscribe down below, and also to all my socials that will be in the description, okay? So we'll recap kind of the weekend and get into Outlier. That's what I use to break down the best bets, the tool that I use that I think provides the most value as a sports bettor, okay? So if you aren't using Outlier, there is a 7-day free trial in the description, so check it out. That link is down below. We'll do that quick recap as we get into the odds here. And we went a little bit off site yesterday. I was finishing up my golf trip, and we gave out 4 picks against the spread and totals to go alongside a couple of touchdown leans that I did like. The touchdown scores went 2 out of 3 and cashed on that, and then also 3 out of 4 of the best bets that I did give out. So collectively, with some plus money sprinkled in there, that was one where we ended up going 5 and 2 for the best bets on Sunday. So that's what we like to see, and let's look to keep this one going. I will have props, and there will be one side and or total that I will get to later on with that late night game, 10 o'clock kickoff between the Texans and Seahawks. So I'll have to stay up late for that one. Definitely a multi-TV kind of night. That's the best way to start off the work week. Let's get into this Monday and talk about that first matchup, Tampa Bay and Detroit. Okay, interesting game here. A couple game notes before we get going. We do see Mike Evans and the likes of Emeka Egbuka back in action for the Buccaneers, okay? So that will kind of change the dynamic. Still waiting for some reprieve back in the backfield as Rachaad White is going to be headlining that unit. And as we look into this game, guys, Baker Mayfield, probably the MVP that I would put my money down for right now. I'm not in love with it, but still, you can't deny what he's done to start off this season, okay? Also, we got the Detroit Lions coming off of a couple bad ones, all right? And that's where we're going to be looking into what they've done, losing to the Chiefs. And, you know, for what it's worth, and I say bad ones, I kind of mean that way because they did beat Cincinnati, but they showed a lot of flaws, all right? And they did beat Cleveland, but that was one where Cleveland early kind of had control of that game pretty much for the first 10 minutes. So not too much to get ahead of ourselves about. Detroit still is one of the class teams in the NFL. For me, I think what it comes down to is they're missing a little bit within Ben Johnson and their defensive coordinator that all left for head coaching positions. And yes, Dan Campbell, great coach, gutsy guy, but still not the same unit that we saw last year, basically almost make the Super Bowl, okay? So we'll look at Tampa Bay. If you want to bet against Baker Mayfield, go for it. I do think that the Lions are the correct side. That's I guess you would say a small lean. I just don't like the number. I'm not going to lay 6 and that much juice, so that will be a pass for me. I do think the Lions play well at home. I think they will play well enough tonight. And also, as we kind of look at what this total sets up to be, 53.5, this is where I would lean towards a total of 53 going over. Okay, so if you can find that flat 53 out there, that's what I would bet. That would be the side that I would be on. The one thing about Jared Goff, though, is when he is at home, he's on that turf in Ford Field. I do think he plays a little bit better. I think that Detroit will be motivated off of that embarrassment against Kansas City. And for my money, guys, I do like the over. I think that's the best side or total that you could play here in this spot. And I don't want to make a living betting against Baker Mayfield as he will be, have to be gutsy tonight, especially with what aggressiveness Dan Campbell and company will be doing in this game. This is going to be a fun one, so looking forward to it. I do like and love a lot of props here, so let's get down into that conversation. All right, and first we're going to get into the the wide receiver position, okay? That's where we're going to look at Jamison Williams. I think this is some value. They've been trying to get him going early, and over 3.5 at plus 125. I think that if we do get plus money, this is a very, very plus money matchup as I look at kind of the, excuse me, I'm getting over a little bout of COVID. So tested negative. I don't think the camera cares, but that's where we're at right now. And just dealing with a little after effects. Okay. But the way that Tampa Bay plays defense, right? Very attacking. Jared Goff, basically since coming over from the Rams, one of his deficiencies was handling the blitz, okay? And quarterbacks handling that blitz and that pressure. This is something where we look into what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do. They blitz the hell out of the quarterback, okay? That's always been the mantra, not just from a defensive coordinator position, but we've seen basically Todd Bowles and what he's done. Very, very aggressive. And even when he was a DC and now head coach, I think this just is completely the mindset and the mentality that the Buccaneers will have in this game. They're going to try to get to Goff, okay? So that will lead into one of my other best bets. But also, I do think that Jameson Williams will have to have some time to get to him. But, you know, quick passes, maybe in the flats, some bubble screens, just... Not really a check down guy, but I do think that what Goff is going to be doing, he's going to get 2 receptions, basically just, you know, thrown out to the flats in a wide receiver screen format, okay? So that's going to be how I approach this. And then basically we just have to have one maybe come back and maybe one over the top early. And we'll cash a 3.5 at plus 125. This will be one of my best bets. And as we look back to the matchup last season, he had 5 grabs against the Buccaneers, okay? So off his 2025 start, it's ramped up a little bit as he had 6 against KC and 4 against Green Bay. A little bit of underperforming performances that we've had in the middle of this run, but through the 6 games this year, this is a plus money bet that I do like. I think it's a great matchup as well, as you do see the Buccaneers allowing receptions to the wide receiver position, the bottom middle in the NFL. So that's what we're going to look into. Jameson Williams, that will be my first best bet, okay? Next, let's get into Baker Mayfield, okay? Because this is a guy that I like to target within the rushing department. And right now, 18.5 rushing yards. This number will climb, mind you, okay? But he has the potential to hit this in 1 rush alone, okay? He did that basically, I believe it was against San Francisco. He had 1 15-yard rush. He's going to have to do it, okay? And with a game that has a lot of pressure on both sides, right? Aiden Hutchinson and company, he's going to be flushed outside the pocket a lot, and there's going to be a lot of scoring up and down, in my opinion. I think he will have a lot of weapons back, as we talked about. Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka back into the fold, and that will open up some running lanes because now we'll have a lot more downfield action going on, and it'll create a lot of running lanes for him. And I don't like the rushing attempts more so than the rushing yards. I know I go back and forth, but also Detroit, very profitable matchup, 21st in the NFL rushing yards allowed to the quarterback position. So Baker Mayfield going over 18.5, that will be my next best bet. We'll keep it in the backfield, but we're going to use quarterbacks once again. This is where Jared Goff, rushing attempts going over 1.5. I think this is a great bet as well. He's cashed this pretty much. You know, we all know kind of that, well, it was, I guess, a reception, but this is where in 2025, in the 6 games, he's cashed this in 2 separate instances. Now, the one thing I'll tell you guys is if you do like the Lions at home to win this game, we might get 2 kneels. That's always going to be a possibility. And at a low juice, minus 106, this is a bet that I will take as we saw him scramble quite a bit, okay? Once against KC, but still 2 against Cincy. I just like this one quite a bit. Even if we get a sneak, a kneel, Jared Goff rushing at minus 106. This will be one of my best bets as well, okay? A little bit more risk, but still, I like this one quite a bit as I do think the Lions will edge out the Buccaneers if you force me to kind of make up my opinion, okay? That will go alongside the over as well, but not going to be official plays, just leans, okay? Cade Otton, that's a guy that will be kind of on the backboard. I'm not going to be targeting Cade Otton. I'm not going to be targeting Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka. I want to see how this dynamic works with now all the toys back into Baker's disposal. We're still awaiting Chris Godwin and him to have some stability in that rotation to go alongside Shepard and company. But Cade Otton, you can look at his receptions. He's definitely on an upswing here, but that's due to the target share being more attributed to the absences of his wide receiver company. So that's going to be something that I stay away from, although it has been very good performances. 4 and 5 receptions, respectively, 81 and 51. But the reason why I wanted to bring up Cade Otton is I do think that he has not scored a touchdown this year. Okay, so plus 160, that's a little bit low. This one should be over $2 in my personal opinion. But at plus 160, you can't really kind of exclude him from this conversation because I do think that this will be something that kind of grabbed my attention why this was so low in value. And the reason why is essentially the Detroit Lions give up a lot of touchdowns to wideouts, tight ends, and that's exactly why I think that with this higher scoring total, we're seeing the juice favoring Cade Otton to find the end zone. So that will be one that I'm kind of looking into. Not in love with it, but I do think that I like that better than his receptions or receiving yards. Okay, next, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks. Texans off a bye, and the Seahawks, if I would have told you guys who's the best quarterback right now in the NFL, I don't know if it's still ongoing, but from a numbers perspective, it's Sam Darnold. Okay, so revitalizing his career very much like Baker Mayfield has done. That's going to be kind of the storyline here as CJ Stroud and company travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. And this is where you're going to find the Houston Texans plus 3.5. Their defense is cooking. Seattle's defense also very strong. Okay, so that's kind of where I look into this as being an underplay. That will be one of my best bets. I'm going under 41.5 at minus 110. I did lock that one in. I also see it working out both ways. Plus 3.5 though for the Texans is very hard to pass up. Okay, that's going to be one that I stay away from though, because I do think that Seattle is the sharper side. But as we've seen over the weekend, college and pros, right? The so-called sharp pick makes you a losing better over the course of this weekend, okay? And that was evident even in Sunday Night Football as the number flipped in the direction of the Atlanta Falcons, and they became a favorite in less than 10 minutes, and that's kind of where they're not always right, okay? The sharps are not always right. Keep that in mind. All right, but the Houston and Seattle game, this will be an under for my money, so I'm taking under 41.5 as one of my best bets. No props that I will be playing here in this matchup. I just want to highlight a few guys, one in specific. If we look into AJ Barner, the tight end, this is somebody that I look to target, but in this spot, it's just a bad matchup. Okay, so if you are looking to AJ Barner, I would recommend kind of staying away from him. He has seen his numbers go up 3, 7, and 3 in terms of receptions and also in yardages. We're going to talk 32, 53, and 71 over his last 3 games. So definitely stock up on AJ Barner. Just not a great matchup for me, as Houston is a top 5 team against a tight end position. Okay, Kenneth Walker, the other guy I want to talk about in 2025, we see his rushing yards set at 49.5 at minus 110. This is where we've seen him kind of Jekyll and Hyde. Okay, he's had basically those running back number 1 stat-like games in half of his outings, and then the other half he did not even hit 40 yards. Okay, this is kind of where though you look into what Houston does defensively for being such a great team. Okay, in terms of team defense, this is where they are essentially a very profitable position to bet against in terms of rushing yards allowed for the running backs. Okay, rushing yards allowed, they almost average 90.6. That's good for 7th in the NFL, allowed 7th most, I should say. So with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet in the backfield there for the Seahawks, this is one where I would not kind of balk at the fact that this 49.5 may be a little bit too low for Kenneth Walker. He also does have a propensity to run better on primetime spots. So I do like Kenneth Walker a little bit, just not going to make my card. I think we have quite a bit of good bets, and this will be one that I'm going to stay away from. Okay, the last one in Seattle that we will talk about, the only other player of noteworthy attention for for what I do in my process will be JSN. Okay, Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's been killing it. Okay, and not so much in receptions, but guys, look at the stat line trending upwards from last year and just basically the start of 2025. I mean, look at these stats, guys. 124, 103, 96, 79, which was an under, okay? That would have been basically good for a automatic cash in any game last season. 132 and 162, okay? The one thing, though, he's going to draw a very difficult matchup in tonight's game, going against the Texans and, 5th in the NFL in receiving yards allowed. So I don't see it. If you want to take the under 90 yards, good luck, Godspeed. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bet against JSN, but I do think this one might be an under if we were going to actually trust the Texans defense, okay? In the way I see the game playing out to an under, that's kind of where I stack up, all right? So that's my breakdowns. Those are my best bets. We'll do a quick recap for you guys. Good luck out there. Enjoy it. Enjoy all the action. Great Monday we have in store, but we're going to be taking Baker's rushing yards over 18.5. Jameson Williams, I want to attack that plus money, plus 125, 4+ grabs, and then also Jared Goff. A little bit of a, I guess you would say, a risky bet, maybe a little bit more so, less chance of this happening than others because there's such less of a wiggle room. But I do think the Lions win, and we will get those kneels at the end of the game. So give me Jared Goff rushing attempts over 1.5 at -106. And then lastly, I am going to play the Seattle Seahawks 41.5 going under the total full game. All right. Appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so by now, hit that like button. Join us here on the channel. Subscribe. Good luck. Let's cash some tickets. Peace.